Welcome to my YouTube channel. I don't know how you came across this video, but hey ho, welcome. Well, I mean, you might have looked up the title, that's why. But anyways, this is a mini series that I just thought that I would start off on my channel. Yeah, this is a series that I just thought I'd start on my channel, as most people tend to not necessarily want to talk about mental health as much, or potentially to do with the fact that people are not exactly that well educated about mental health. That's partially why. I'm based in the UK, so I'm not speaking globally, I'm speaking based on my own experience within where I've lived. I've lived in the UK for 11 years. I'm originally from Zimbabwe. Ethnicity tag coming in the future at some point. First part I just wanted to touch on is my own experience with depression and anxiety. So little background. I basically moved from Zimbabwe when I was 11, turning 12. Scorpio. Yeah, I moved towards the end of my primary year, and then when I moved here, I had to repeat basically the same years I was doing. That's besides the point. Basically, the way it came about to be for me to actually experience depression wasn't a case of this one. I mean, you could say it's major, because I actually never so I was bullied basically in high school. I never experienced bullying before in my entire life. It's a very Western thing. I mean, I'm sure, yeah, like probably had I gone high school in Zimbabwe, yeah, I would have experienced it at some point, one point or the other, but because I hadn't, I had experienced obviously people stealing from me and talking behind my back, but that's besides the point. But yeah, so I was bullied from basically, but throughout my whole high school, I was bullied. I've had people throw food at me. I've been called any name under the roof. Some of the people from my high school might be watching this and might think that like we never saw that happen, but it's a case of we're in the same environment but we're having two different experiences. But yeah, so basically it stemmed from that. So I was basically bullied from being new, bullied from being different, bullied from like basically I was bullied for everything that I had zero control over. Like literally there's nothing I could have done to change any of those things, but people took it upon themselves to say that they need to voice their opinion about it, or they need to act out their opinion about it. But from then on, I think it was like around year 8, that was the first time that I actually got depressed. But then the thing is, what I didn't understand was a case of how I didn't understand that it was depression basically, because I was still like getting up, going to school, everything was happening, this, that, the other, but I was depressed. So people didn't really take on upon it to be like, you are actually depressed. They're like, I hated school basically. Like year 7, year 8 and year 9 I hated school, but obviously people couldn't see that. But yeah, I hated school. I actually hated my high school. I will not name the high school, but anyways, if you're watching this and you're from the high school, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so basically I just didn't like school. There was too much going on. It was like new environment, new everything, trying to navigate, trying to get used to the new schooling system and everything. So that was a bit much. Fast forward, so that was like, oh, year 8, fast forward to year 9. What happened in year 9? What happened in year 9? Oh yeah, oh Jesus. So you know the whole thing of like how basically people like in high school, you find out that someone likes someone, and then you then go on to be like, I told this one girl basically that, oh yeah, I like this person, but it was more of like I was just talking to them, like, oh, I usually talk to you, I'm just talking to you, it's nothing, it's very fine. But then this girl goes on to like then tell everyone, and I'm like, well, she told one person, and the one person obviously gossip travels fast in high school and whatever, and by the end of it, like pretty much everyone knew who it was that I liked, and I was just like, why? Like, why? Just like really, like anywho. Yeah, so going on from that, fast forward throughout high school, finished high school, had food thrown at me. One of my friends also had like one of the guys at the school spat in her face. There was basically a lot that was going on at that time, and then obviously there's the whole thing of like you like someone, the person doesn't like you, or you like someone, you tell one person, everyone finds out you like that person, your friend likes the same person, and all of a sudden you two are not talking, this, that, and the other, and it's just like so my first the first time I actually got close to taking my own life when I was in year 11, and at the time I didn't actually know how to, like, obviously I didn't expect people to know how to like take their own lives, but I mean at the time I didn't actually understand what the consequences of it was or whatever. At that point I was just like, time out, I'm just done. But I don't know if you remember this, there was a video, an episode in Hollyoaks where, oh, what's her name, it was this girl, basically she tried to take her own life and she tried to overdose, but then the thing is she didn't do it properly and she ended up getting jaundice, which is basically where your body, your skin, basically your skin color changes to yellow because of your renal system being affected. But yeah, she basically, that scene I was just a bit taken back by. So in my head from then on, this sounds awful to even admit it, I started analysing of different ways of how I actually could kill myself and have it be successful. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, like, I mean, obviously when I think of it now, it's a bit like, okay, like you really should have like looked for help. But because I didn't know exactly what was going on with me, or neither did I understand what was happening, I just kept it to myself. Like, I keep a lot of, like, I keep everything to myself. Like, everything. Like, if I don't want you to know, you ain't gonna know, basically. Next time I try to then, basically, I've attempted to try to take my life at least 4 times, right? But fast forward to starting college. I started college, finished college, had another little episode then went on to uni. Uni. Yeah, uni was yeah, uni was that's a story and a half. Yeah, uni happened, first relationship and all, whatever, this and the other. That relationship ended. That relationship was, yeah, end of that relationship, I then experienced my first like real, like literally like bang on head on, like like when I said like got through my placement. I was on placement at that time, I had exams to do, I had assignments to do, got through everything, did everything that I needed to do, passed all that ish, whatever, it happened. Then I didn't obviously seek help at that time. I was just like, no, I'm good. Like, that powder is like, it's nothing. Like, I'm used to feeling like this, like, it's nothing. I'm good. And then went on to earlier on last year when I got kicked out of uni. Yeah, after having repeated my second year. Yeah, that was a bit hit me again like Tina did Ike in the limb. Anyway, that uni found in September, October, November. You couldn't, like, who, Edna who, like Edna who, you would not find me in anything or nothing, like Edna who. I just couldn't wrap my head around everything that had happened, because basically, like, identity crisis, I had built up so much towards me finishing uni and everything, that when it got to the point where it's like, oh no, actually, God's like, nah, it's not happening, not today. not for a while, and I'm just like, so what have I actually been working towards? Like, what is this? Like, what actually is this? So around that time last year, October came around, and basically, like, I owe a lot to my, oh my god, I'm gonna start crying. Right, I didn't think I was gonna cry this earlier on. Anyway, yeah, I owe a lot to my mom. Like, oh god. Yeah, like, she basically helped a lot. Like, I mean, obviously it sucked for her to like see me the way I was in that situation. Obviously, like, it sucks for any parent to see a child going through something there. Like, obviously I'm trying to understand why exactly is happening, but then because like I've been so used to it that I didn't actually know any different, or should I say whatever, I got so used to it that I just was like, it's gonna pass at some point. Yes, I'm gonna try and take my life at some point. I'm gonna do this, that and the other. I'm gonna do the stupid coping mechanisms that I always do, but then at this point I was legit convinced that I was actually going to, like, I was just gonna call it quits, to be fair, because I don't know, like, at that time too many things all happened at once, and I literally just couldn't deal with it anymore. And then I need to do something, and in my head I was just like, oh, why is she bothering me? Like, just leave me alone. Like, just get out of my room. And then she was like, do you think you need help? And surprisingly, at that point, I didn't think I'd actually say yes, but I was like to my mom, yeah, I do. I actually do. And I was like, yeah, I do need help. And then she was like, okay, tomorrow we're gonna go to the GPs. And I was like, okay, fair and fine, we'll go. But in my head I wasn't convinced that I was actually going to the GPs, because I was just like, yeah, I'm just saying it just so she can get out of my room. And then come next morning, my mom actually cancelled her shift that day. She didn't go to work. She was like, okay, let's go. Went to the GPs. The GPs made me do this depression anxiety questionnaire or form or whatever thing, like this tool that they use to basically diagnose you with depression anxiety. Did that, and then obviously my score at that time was like very high. It's like, yeah, like your score is like severely high. This is all we can offer you. He put me on antidepressants. I was put on sertraline, 50 milligrams to begin with, and he said that I need to see you in 2 weeks time. And then also gave me a leaflet for talking therapies, which is basically this little service that's available to people. We'll talk about that in a different video. Yeah, and like, yeah, took whatever he gave me, started taking the antidepressants, whatever. I stayed on them for like 3 days. Like, when I say that shit is not to be fucked with, like, I literally mean, sorry for swearing, but like, literally, that's no. Like, I know that people that are in favor of antidepressants, but for me it's just like, no, I'm in here. I didn't continue on, and I came off them, and then I was like to my mom, I don't think this is working at all, because it literally made me feel so much worse, like so much worse, to the point that I nearly, for fuck's sake, I actually can't, no. Yeah, like, you just made it so worse. That was like, they're like, yeah, also like the side effects, like, oh yeah, it's gonna suck for the like first week or two because your body's getting used to the medication. But I was like, I don't need it to suck it. I don't actually need it to suck any more than it already does. Like, why am I gonna like stick through with this medication just because there's the hope that it's gonna work for me? Like, I'm not like shaming anyone that's on antidepressants. Power to you if it works for you, but it doesn't. I didn't stick through it long enough to see the effects for it, but I just prefer alternative therapies, to be fair. So yeah, stopped taking them, and then started looking for a therapist. So I went through at least about 4 different therapists before I found one that I actually like got on with, and it was brought to my attention that I actually have highly functional depression, similar to highly functional alcoholism. Well, I mean, it's not similar, but I mean in terms of that example, Annalise Keating, she has highly functional alcoholism. Like, she's an alcoholic, but she can get through her day. Anyways, sidetracking for no reason. Yeah, basically, it was brought to my attention that I basically have highly functional depression. I basically have mild depression throughout, like I'm basically mildly depressed majority of the time, and it just takes like one trigger for me to have like a very deep depression. But obviously now explains everything that was going on from when I was in high school, that I was still able to get up and get things done because it wasn't as an intense of a depression, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that's part of it. And in terms of my anxiety is an absolute bitch. It's a bitch. Like, I was meant to, like, when I say it's a bitch, I like going to the gym, right? I didn't go to the gym for shit, because for some reason in my head, wow, English. In my head, I had it that something was gonna go wrong. Me leaving the house or something. This was not even like October time. This was like 3-4 months later. I still was not going to the gym because in my head I had it that something is gonna go wrong. I leave this house and go to do something. Something is gonna go wrong. Like, it's not, basically outside was not safe. The only place I felt safe was in my room, on my own. I didn't want anyone in there. Like, people would literally come into my room, they only allowed me there for like at least 2 minutes. Either you're bringing me food or just get out. And the only person that could like convince me to get out of my bed to go have a shower was my mom. But another thing is, I was meant to go, like, my favorite band of all time, Paramore. I booked the tickets. I bought the tickets last year in April. Meant to see them in January. Did I go? No. What's the reason? Was it because that there was like a cancellation of trains? No. Like, literally my anxiety was just like, nah, it's not safe. Don't go. This could happen. That could happen. No, it's not. Like, people actually think, and you know what, the part that bothers me a lot is the fact that when someone says that they have anxiety, people actually think that they're just fronting or lying or saying that, oh, they're making an excuse for not wanting to be social. It's not an excuse. Like, believe me, if someone is actually telling you that if someone tells you that they have depression or anxiety, believe them about it at all. They really don't. They don't like acknowledging that they themselves have gone through depression at one point or the other, or some of them are going through it right now and they don't actually realize that it's going on. And it's this whole thing of like bravado and being like, no, I can do this for myself, or this, that. Obviously, that's how I was raised or brought up. Like, the environment I was around, I was mostly around, and it was a whole thing of like, you need to do ish for yourself, basically, like that kind of thing, of which that I think contribute towards me keeping things to myself and not really like voicing anything that's going on with me. But like, I just the reason why I'm making this video is, yeah, like, it might seem like I've been like, oh, me, woe is me, oh God, like, hear me, I've been through so much, this, that, the other, oh my God, please pity me. I'm not telling you this to pity me, I really am not. I'm hoping that you watching this video will gain something out of this. You will share this with whoever you feel needs to gain some, especially if you're African, okay? Like, if you are Black African or Afro-Caribbean or whatever way you recognize, especially if you're Black, okay? If you are Black, okay? Please, just, it's a bit disheartening every time I think of the fact that there's so much that's put in to helping people with their physical health as opposed to their mental health. It's, yeah, like, please just, one thing, if I can just leave with you in this video, just check up on each other. Like, I don't know, like, whoever's watching this video, I don't know if you're 11, I don't know if you're 8, I don't know if you're 32, I don't know if you're 54, I don't know if you're 80, I don't know, whatever age group that you are, please just check up on each other. Like, there's this whole thing where most of us, like, keeping to ourselves, dealing with things ourselves, and just being like me. But when, one thing to say is that when you actually are going through really rough times, that's when you can actually see who your actual friends are, or who's there for you, or who you can call family. Let me especially who you can call family. Let me just say that. Just yeah, just please check up on each other. It's like, you don't even need to be there to give your opinion. Just listen to the person. Sit down, listen to whatever it is that they have to say. And I just feel that, like, something needs to change. Like, majorly. Something needs to change. We can't keep sweeping things under the rug just because it's a case of, oh, this does not bring honor to our family. We don't want people to know that, especially mothers, like, not even only mothers, parents in general, like, stop putting so much pressure on your kids to be like, listen to your kids. Like, when I tell you this, right, that I actually consider my mom one of my best friends, I actually mean that. Like, I've got to the point, like, obviously, like, don't get me wrong, yeah, I know there's, like, the boundaries of, like, yeah, she's still a parent, she's still my mom. I'm lucky, I know that, I'm lucky, I'm very, very lucky that I actually have that strong of a relationship with my mom. And most people don't, like, most people do not, and I get that, but then, as much as there's that, I know you must have someone within people that you consider to be friends or family that you do feel that you can go and talk to, and they will actually listen to you. Like, you actually don't have anyone in your life that you are to an extent that close to. Call the Samaritans, right? Call them. Yes, it feels weird, believe me, I know, I've done it before. Like, there were times when I was at uni that I just didn't want to talk to anyone that I actually know. And they were the only people that I mean, they might as well have had my phone number in the directory, to be fair, because but yeah, like, call the Samaritans, keep your circle small. Like, the more people you have, the more energies you have to feed off of. Like, it might be a case of that you have so many people that you consider to be friends. I put friends loosely because people like throwing that word around as if it has no value, just the same way people love throwing the word around love as if it doesn't hold that much of a value. If I consider your friends, if they're only a friend because they are gaining something from you, they are not a friend. If it's a case of they only talk to you because they are only gaining something from you, they are not your friend. I keep repeating this because I still see this. Like, there are people that are even in their 40s and have people that they're calling friends, but no, they're not actually their friends. They're just people that are using them because it's a case of that it's easy access for them. If they're in crisis, they can call you and be like, can I have this? Because they know you are very lenient enough. Yeah, like, they know that you're a yes person. But I need you to be a no person. Like, no. Like, be selfish with yourself. Don't spread yourself so thin. Like, be selfish. Be like a thingy. Like a very cold peanut butter that was in the fridge. You take it out. You try spreading peanut butter and it's come out of the fridge. You know how difficult it is to spread that ish. yeah, be that way. Don't spread yourself thin. Don't be like runny honey and just go woo, and spread yourself around everyone. No, be as difficult, like be selfish. I'm not saying you need to be selfish every time, but I'm saying choose moments. You don't need to be constantly be saying yes, 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 yes to everyone. But you need to think of yourself. You really do need to think of yourself and think, how does this add to my life? How does this do anything for me? How does this help me at all? If it doesn't, like, I mean, like, you might just need to like clean up the people you call friends, to be fair. Like cut a few people off, like cut a few people out, like, even if some of them are family, like, okay, family you can't cut out, but it might be a case that you need to distance yourself from them. Like, I know it sounds unrealistic, but you might just have to, because if they're not, there's so many things that people go through that, like, it seems as if they are more important, they're of more value than you are, and they'll try and bring you down to their level. This is one of my many series that I will be doing on this channel. Just thought I'd start with the mental health one, because on the 10th of October is Mental Health Awareness Day, and I'm just like a big believer of mental health. Basically, I've done a hike for, oh Jesus, I've done a hike London to Brighton, oh hold on, I did it last year in May. Very proud of this, like I'm so proud of this. Like basically, oh god, is it focusing? Yeah, like I did a hike for Mind, basically a mental health charity. This is not focusing. I'm very proud of this. Like I'm so proud of this. I work with Mind. I try and do as much as I can here and there, either it be fundraising or just listen, I want us, right, okay, the way it looks is no one that's actually going to help us that well in regards to mental health as opposed to ourselves. So we need to be a bit more proactive about it. I just want us to be more proactive in terms of taking care of ourselves mentally and physically, but mostly start with mentally and then work towards physically, because there's no way you can be all physically there and still be mentally broken. It don't work. It don't work. It just doesn't. Like, it does not work. But yeah, so thank you for watching my video. I know this was a very, very long video, but thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Okay.